All right, good morning, good afternoon, everyone joining in for this BluIP webinar. Appreciate everyone taking some time out of their day. For reference, we are recording this webinar in case anyone else would like to share it afterwards. Rick, I already see your question, so perfect. We're going to kick this off with a couple of different items that we have on the agenda today. You will note just some housekeeping items that you are automatically muted and your mic is disabled for this webinar. If you have any questions at all during the webinar or any problems, please just send a message in the chat box. We'll all be able to see it in there. During the webinar today, we're going to introduce a little bit of what the topic of at hand is going to be here for today, and also the more general items from the webinar. We're going to do a demo of one of our products called AIVA Connect. We're going to have Joaquin from our team demo that product. We're also going to do a very brief overview of the new WebEx for CISCO Broadworks, an introduction there. Erickson is going to take the lead on that. And finally, we have Mark Horton that's going to cover some support statistics from BluIP. And please be aware that throughout this, we are encouraging questions. They are, as I mentioned before, going to be written questions. If your question is a little bit more detailed, we can absolutely unmute you, so just request that. We'd be happy to do so. There is a little tip here. People that ask questions are in for some cool giveaways. And I don't know if we quite have a limit, but there are some pretty nice items in there. But in order to have a chance to win some giveaways, you got to ask some questions. So please do. And we'll talk a little bit about the next webinar that we have on the schedule. So for these webinars here, it's a goal to have these on a recurring basis. It'll probably on a quarterly format, maybe every 2 months, just depending on what topics we see, what we hear. The goal here is really to keep you informed of what we're working on in order to help you serve your customers even better. We want to make sure you always hear of the latest products that we're working on, what we're seeing in different verticals. On this webinar here, we have various different agents and partners of BluIP. And it's very important for us to make sure that you do hear of these new items that are being worked on. We want to make sure you're always aware so you can share them with your customers. And again, any questions, please drop those in the chat box. We'll keep an eye on the chat throughout this webinar here. And with that being said, I'm going to kind of hand it over to Joaquin for a AIVA Connect overview. And again, please do ask questions in the chat box throughout. We'd really appreciate it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joaquin Valencia, and I'm a junior product manager here at BluIP. So today I'll be talking about AIVA Connect. AIVA Connect is our modular AI platform, which is currently being used mainly in the hospitality space. But the neat thing about AIVA Connect is that it can really be used in any business environment. So you're going to hear from me and see some examples that are coming directly out of hospitality, but for all purposes, you could really apply these again to any business environment. So on the next slide, what you're looking here is just a brief overview of our AIVA Connect solution, or the end-to-end customer journey. So if you look at this diagram from left to right, obviously everything starts with a customer. And what we're showing here is an example of somebody using Google to initiate a contact with a property, either a phone call or a chat. And obviously it can be any source, but the main thing here is that we can accept both voice calls, and the platform is fully capable of accepting digital messaging journeys as well. So things like chatting from a web page from built-in loyalty apps, things like Google Business Messages, and even SMS. So from a journey perspective on the voice side, obviously we can handle everything from external calls to internal calls, and of course, admin and staff. So those chat messages, those voice calls, and the rest of that goes directly into the AIVA Connect platform. And that platform has integrations with booking engines, appointment softwares, and ticketing tools. In the hospitality space, we have integrations with property management systems, with central reservation systems, and with hotel operation systems. But the neat thing is that if there is a specific platform that you would like integrated, and they have API documentation and people that we can work with, that's something we could definitely discuss doing and integrating into our platform. And so what this does, it just allows us to both push information as well as receive information from those systems so that AIVA can operate just like a live human being would in terms of knowledge of what is available in, let's say, in the hotel. Then finally, if AIVA can't self-service a customer or admin, then there is a process for escalating that directly to a live human. And for that, we offer a single pane of glass console. And that console obviously allows an operator or any staff member, either on-premise or remote, to do 99.9% of what they do with an average customer without having to, of course, alt-tab through different applications. So on the next slide, the main point here is that AIVA Connect is a series of modules. And so it's not something that you have to take all or nothing. Rather, it's something that we can incrementally add services. So in some cases, customers use the AI engine and then they implement to start off with, let's say, internal calls. And then they'll expand from there, adding more integrations and adding more services as needed. And that includes everything from the WebRTC client console for live operators to the AI virtual assistant to service interaction tracking and call recording analysis. So to emphasize, all this is modular, and you could deploy as much or as little as you want in order to meet your objective. And then most importantly to all of this is fully integrated into BluIP standard network and system integrations plane. So from a billing perspective, from a support perspective, and from an integration with our existing services perspective, it's connected in the same way as every other device. So on the next slide, just before I show you the operator console, here are some key takeaways. So to emphasize this, there's zero installation needed as this is completely browser-based and can run on any PC running a browser. So in the IT space, you can definitely appreciate that as you don't have to worry about what drivers or what service packs or what plugins need to be installed. Essentially, if you can run the browser, then we can run the console. So single pane of glass and single sign-on for all critical hotel operator tools. And the key point here is this single pane of glass and that we want your operator to stay in one window. And the reason for that is it just makes their job easier and in the end reduces the number of touch points, their handle time, and the wait time for the operator. The next point, customizable callback functionality for remote operators. So I'll showcase this today in our demo, but as an operator, you can be responsible for multiple queues. And when the operator makes a phone call out, the caller ID will reflect the queue they're currently in. We also have direct integrations with multiple business systems via APIs. And the key point here again is if there is a specific platform that you would like integrated and they have API documentation and people we can work with, and that's something we could definitely discuss doing. And lastly, the call analytics dashboard directly in the client. And the key point here is we even built a call analytics dashboard that you don't have to open an external application for. It's again all in the same platform in the same window. So finally, on this last slide, really quick, it's just a cheat sheet or a screenshot of the operator console. But I'm actually going to share my screen at this point and show you exactly what our operator console looks like. All right, so here we are inside the operator console. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on sign in at the top right to begin. And from here on, I'm gonna go and click on here and we do single sign-in, but we can do our Azure Active Directory, but we can do any other single sign-in that you wish to use. So now we're inside the console. I'm gonna go ahead and click on phone to open the operator console. All right, now it is asking me to select a user, and the reason is my account is actually linked to multiple users, but if your account was just linked to a single user, then you would jump straight into the console. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on my operator account. Just gonna reopen that real quick. All right, here we are. So again, this is a telephony console, so you do get your 911 warning. I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. And so you'll see on the left side, you'll have your dial pad. And on the right side, you'll have your first tab, which in this case is call logs. Or we have a feature where you can pin a workspace. And so let's say as an operator, there is only one workspace that you're actively in. You can actually pin it. So when you relaunch the console, that'll be the first thing that you see. So moving on to this dial pad, of course, is a telephony console. So we do support multi-call handling up to 5 calls. So let's say you have a call on line 1, an active call on line 1, and a call comes in on line 2. If you select that line 2 button, what this will do is put line 1 on hold, and now you're actively on line 2. And you can do this up to 5 times. At the bottom left here, we're talking about this a little bit earlier, but this is where you can manage your queues. So as an operator, as Jacqueline, I can choose to make an outbound call as herself or the different queues she's responsible for. So if I click on MI Resorts downtown area, then my name and phone number would be reflected there. Moving on, I'm going to showcase some of the different tabs we have up here. So we're currently on the call logs page. And from here, I can filter all calls, incoming calls, outgoing calls, and missed calls. And I can, of course, search my call logs. So if in my missed calls, I can actually, if I click on the info button here, the system is intelligent enough to know where they called in. And if I click on here, it'll know which queue to switch to all call out from. Moving on to the contacts page. From here, there's 2 tabs. There's a personal directory and a group directory. The personal directory, may be useful if you're a supervisor and you have to dial some numbers fairly quickly. And the group directory could be useful for if you're an operator, and it'll just have all the numbers that you would need to call on a day-to-day basis. And so now the tabs up here, these are all the different integrations we have done, mainly in the hospitality space. But again, remember that if there is a platform that you would like integrated, then you could see these up here as well. So some of the integrations we have done, here's our Jazzware integration. We have integrations with Hot Sauce, with Opera, with Zello, and here are our call transcripts. And notice how as I'm traversing through the different applications up top, it's not asking me to enter in my credentials, hence our single pane of glass. So from here on out, I'm actually going to pull up my phone and demonstrate 2 calls into AIVA. And I want to showcase and so you guys can see how AIVA works, and also demo how an operator would handle a call if it was transferred to them. So I'm going to make my first call right now.
Good afternoon, Joaquin, and thanks for calling my resort's outdoor adventures. If you know the person, department, or guest you're trying to reach, just ask and I'll be happy to connect you. If you have a general question about the hotel, and I know the answer, I'll be happy to assist. If I can't answer, I'll make sure you get to a staff member that can.
How do you clean the rooms for COVID?
Sorry, can you say that again?
How do you clean the rooms for COVID?
Cleanliness and safety is an important expression of our purpose to care for people so they can be their best. Additional measures are being taken, such as touch-free options and more frequent sanitation with hospital-grade disinfectants. For detailed information, please visit our Global Care and Cleanliness Commitment online. Is there anything else I can assist with?
Can I bring my dog?
Outdoor Adventures welcomes 2 dogs up to 50 pounds for an additional fee of $100 per stay. Pet-friendly rooms are limited and dogs may not be left unattended. There is no designated relief area on the property, but grassy areas can be found within walking distance. Unfortunately, we cannot accommodate other types of pets. Can I help in any other way?
Operator, please.
Transferring you to operator.
So here's the call coming in. All right. So you'll notice a couple things. So number one, you notice that it actually greeted me by name. It said, "Good afternoon, Joaquin." And the reason it did that is the AI actually did a lookup into our loyalty database and matched my phone number and my caller ID and was able to greet me by name. You also notice I was able to ask it a number of questions that were relatively unrelated. And I can ask a bunch of different questions in different ways. I don't necessarily have to phrase, can I bring my dog, to get the answer that I wanted. And you also notice in the call intent as an operator, I can clearly see who this call came from. So I could see that this call was for MI Resorts Outdoor Adventures. This was an external caller, and the call was transferred to a department. In our case, we treat the operator as a department. And the last thing you'll notice is the call transcript is in LIFO method, last in, first out, meaning that the last thing that was said is the first thing or the thing at the very top. But we can also configure that to first in, first out, or the FIFO method. So now I'm going to demonstrate a little more complicated call. I will ask AIVA a series of questions, again, unrelated, and then I'll again transfer it to the operator, but this time I'll showcase an example of what the operator would do. So I'm gonna hang up on the call real quick and then dial this number.
Good afternoon, Joaquin, and thanks for being a silver member. How can I assist you?
I need a wake-up call for 6 a.m.
I've set a wake-up call for 6 a.m. Is there anything else you need?
Can I get more towels?
How many do you need?
4.
Okay, 4 towels. I'm sending someone up. Anything else I can help with?
Can I get a Diet Coke?
I'll have a Diet Coke sent right up. Is there anything else I can do?
I think I left my wallet at the bar.
I've notified security that you're looking for your wallet and that you think you may have left it in the bar. If we find it, we will contact you immediately. Can I help in any other way?
I have a light out in my room.
Let's fix those lights. I'll connect you with the operator so they can assist you. Your call is very important.
So here's the call coming in again. Because as you can see again, everything is here, all the questions that I asked. And if you notice that the last thing I asked is when the call got escalated to a live operator, but the AI was still able to handle all the previous requests that I made automatically. And you'll notice that we trained AIVA here to transfer to a live operator when there is a request for lights. But this is all dependent on you, and you can train AIVA to transfer to a live operator whenever that you choose. And you also can notice when I asked for towels, it knew to ask for how many towels. And again, when I said, can I have a Diet Coke, it knew that meant a single Diet Coke. So if I said, can I have Diet Coke, it then wouldn't know to ask me how many. And then as an operator, since we have different integrations here, I'll show an example of what they would do. So I could see that as an operator that they have an issue with their lights. I also see their room number and their loyalty status. And so because we have an integration with hot sauce, I can go ahead and go to hot sauce. I know that the guest is in room 524. And I know that they have an issue with the lights. So if I press OK here, it generates a ticket for them. And we can take this a step further because we have more integrations. We can go to Zello, go to housekeeping, and I can say, send a voice message, send a text message, or do push to talk and let housekeeping know, hey, we have a guest, Joaquin, he's in room 524. Can you please bring a Diet Coke, 4 towels? And then I could also make sure that they know to fix his lights as well. And then I can go back, since I'm still on the call, with Joaquin to reemphasize that they're going to bring these, fix the lights and bring all the things that you requested. So, any questions there?
So Joaquin, we have a couple of questions that came in the chat. Is it okay time if we kind of address maybe a few of those right now?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So let's see here. I'm gonna. Do you have anything else to share, Joaquin, on your screen? Are you good?
That is everything on my end. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. All right. So we had a couple of questions that came in, and we're obviously doing this live and on the fly here. So I'm going to call on a couple of my colleagues. So Rick Santos, you had a good question. And are there plans to develop presence or directory integration similar to Unity Desktop Client? if it's all right, Erickson, can I call on you for that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's presence that we're looking for here, whether it's a desktop Unity client or other types of applications. So we'll definitely put that on the roadmap for adding presence. Yes. So the way it is right now, if you, Joaquin, can you still show your screen on the directory?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm assuming this is where the presence you guys are asking about. So like, offline. So this is where you want the status to be, correct? So definitely.
And Rig, if I could add in before we move on to the next question here, I think it's important to note that we're constantly evolving this product, right? As we get more and more requests from different partners and customers, agents out there. And I may take your other part of the question here, and April Erickson may chime in as well. But you had a second question, Rick, where is team or instant messaging chat and SMS, MMS integration, is that something that we have on the roadmap? Yes and yes, and we already have some level of integration with these different applications out there. So it's absolutely something we can do if that's needed. Of course, it does depend on what systems you might want the data to end up in. And is it one that we would integrate with? Is it a system that you have separately, or do you want to see it directly into this platform here? Erickson, looks like Rig is asking if we can natively integrate SMS directly into AIVA.
We will study.
All right, Rick, thanks for your questions. I'll take the last one here, and then we're probably going to wrap up on the AIVA component. So Bill, you asked, how does AIVA deal with different languages? So AIVA does work. We're essentially using some Google components in the back end. So we're always able to understand different languages. Now, of course, it would be ideal if there is a way to kind of identify right off the bat to say, hey, are you calling English, Spanish, or another language? And you can state that, because there are certain words that may mean different things in different languages. So we can absolutely integrate into different languages. Spanish is absolutely one of them that we could do as well. Not sure if anyone on my team has any additional comments about foreign language capabilities.
I think they support just about a dozen today, and they're adding more consistently on a regular basis.
Thanks, John.
So Google, and as just sort of as the base primaries, I believe at 32 as text to speech, speech to speech, speech to text, I think is at 28 today. There, as you said, there are various components, various solutions that can be taken into consideration in order to switch that speech from English to the other language. So we've sort of solved that for the Spanish language already because it's the most common. So yes, it's easily solved.
One thing I'll add in, because I know that we have various different individuals on this webinar here that comes from extremely diverse segments. This stat here is specific to hospitality, but I personally don't see a reason why it wouldn't resemble what you could achieve outside hospitality. In hospitality, we'd actually implemented AIVA at many hotels, and we've seen significant human call volume reduction, aka offloading to other systems. It depends how well you train AIVA. It depends how complex your operation may, or the customer's operation may be. You could have as low as maybe 20, 25%. You could have as high as maybe 60%. In hotels, we've seen relatively consistent right around the 50% mark for call volume reduction, where it doesn't go to a physical human at the hotel. Either the AIVA solves for it, or AIVA gets a call connected to the right department right away, instead of dealing with that initial operator. And I know that everyone's customers today are struggling with hiring labor out there. Hospitality is probably one of the worst ones, but there are plenty of other ones that are struggling too, especially retail. So if anyone on this call here does have any retail customers, this may be a product for you to consider, looking at to present to some of your retail customers out there. We're also working to see how this fits into healthcare as an example.
I just want to do a quick edit on my answer. I was reminded that we do currently support presence for all users that are using AIVA, the AIVA platform, but not users currently on the Broadworks platform right now. So we'll definitely study that. So the next one up is CISCO WebEx for Broadworks.
All right, go ahead, Erickson.
All right. Hey guys, thanks again for coming to this webinar. My name is Eric Abing, and I'm the Director of Products here at BluIP. So I just want to talk a little bit about WebEx for CISCO Broadworks on another webinar. We'll go into more detail, but for this one, I've got literally 5 slides. So before we go to the next slide, just a little bit of background. So when CISCO acquired BroadSoft, they basically announced that they're going to end of life UC1, the UC1 platform. So as of now, UC1 will no longer be supported by Q1 2022. So to replace UC1, CISCO announced WebEx for Broadworks. Now we are still finalizing the migration process, but the plan generally is to migrate all of our current UC1 customers by Q1 of next year. Now, obviously, we want to make this as seamless and as painless as possible for you guys. So we will be sending out lots of notifications, and we'll be scheduling the migration out with you guys, directly. So I don't want you guys to think that you're going to wake up one morning, launch UC1, and all of a sudden be forced into WebEx without you guys knowing it. Okay. Next slide, please. Awesome. All right. Okay, so WebEx is CISCO's answer to Microsoft Teams and Zoom and other collaboration type products. Now, as we all know, CISCO is a global leader in collaboration. So WebEx is a cloud-based collaboration suite that includes your calling, your meeting, and your messaging from any device. And when I say any device, it basically runs on PCs, on Macintoshes, iOS and Android tablets, and smartphones. So there's lots of options of how you guys want to work. Now, WebEx for CISCO Broadworks, what that means is we basically integrate all of the power of the WebEx collaboration suite with BluIP's BroadSoft infrastructure, right? So, and this was not an easy task. So BluIP's sales and support staff have undergone intensive training and passed all of their respective certification exams to even continue down this path. And of course, BluIP's BroadSoft infrastructure has also been fully certified with CISCO WebEx so that we, BluIP, can provide all of the cloud calling and PSTN services. So that's what we mean by WebEx for CISCO Broadworks, right? You're taking the WebEx suite and then we are powering it with BluIP's calling engine. All right, so next slide, please. Okay. So just a little bit about calling, right? So because we are going to be using your BroadSoft account, right? So you have access to all of your traditional enterprise telephony features that you would expect, like transfer, call forward, call waiting, call park, conferencing, merge, share line. The list goes on and on. There's lots and lots of telephony features, right? We have high fidelity audio for great quality calls, intelligent noise suppression, advanced call controls and management for CISCO headsets, high definition video and sharing. We even have video blurring and custom backgrounds. All right, so next slide. And then of course, there's meeting, right? What would collaboration be without meetings? Now, there's 2 kinds of meetings in WebEx, right? There's a concept called space meetings. If you're not familiar with space meetings, but if you're familiar with Teams, Teams calls it Teams. CISCO calls it space, right? So you can schedule a meeting directly from the space, or you can schedule a meeting directly from the space. But we also have the concept of what they're calling a PMR, or a personal meeting room. If you guys are familiar with the UC1 platform, remember the concept of my room. So for example, like in this picture, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 25 people, right, on this conference. And then you begin to realize that really 5 people need to get in more detail. So what you do is, you've got your phone number, and you've got a link to your room, and then you say, hey guys, I need you to go to my room so we can discuss in further details, away from the crowd. So 2 meetings, right? So we have space meetings and personal meetings. And of course, you've got screen sharing. You can share your entire screen or just a specific app or a document without any kind of additional downloads. So you share from your desktop, and then everybody can view it from their desktop, from their tablet, from their smartphone. Now, this is very, very handy, right? So if you're late for a meeting and you're at the parking lot and your meeting starts at 8 a.m. and you're at the parking lot at 7:59, right? You can see and view the meeting from your smartphone, because I do this all the time because my call starts at 7 a.m. And then as I'm viewing the meeting from my smartphone, as soon as I get into my desk, I can log in on my desktop and then continue the meeting seamlessly. Of course, you have guest collaborations. So you can invite external people to join you. You have recordings, right? Just like right now, we're recording this call. WebEx also has something similar. And of course, presenter controls. Okay, next one. Okay. So of course, now it's not enough to meet. You have to be able to chat, right? So you have direct and group chat. So that means you have one-to-one. I can chat with April, or I can chat with the entire team, okay? You have your full suite of messaging capability. You can have sharing. We've got a history, notifications, present status, offline mode, all kinds of messaging collaboration as you would expect from an enterprise grade collaboration suite, right? Okay. And then last but not least, to the last slide, Lasse. Okay. So these are going to be the WebEx packages, and we made it simple. There's basic, there's standard, and then there's premium. So with basic, you basically get calling and messaging and up to 25 space participant meetings. Now you guys all remember what space is, right? So Teams calls it Teams, CISCO calls it space. And then you have the standard package, which includes everything from your basic package, okay? But it includes up to 100 space participant in your space meetings. And you get the personal meeting room, right? And then the premium, of course, that includes everything that's included in your standard package, and now up to 300 space meeting participants and up to 1,000 PMR meetings. So as we mentioned again, we are still finalizing the migration process. We definitely don't want you guys to panic and think that you're going to log in tomorrow and be forced into WebEx for Broadworks. We will communicate with you guys systematically to make sure that you're definitely aware of our schedule. All right. Edwin, I believe you are on this call. Is there anything else that you would like to add for our folks? Or Mark?
Just that as of right now, we're still exploring SMS, MMS capabilities, while SMS is still available, just like UC1 is going to be available, just like UC1 with WebEx for Broadworks. We are pushing for MMS capabilities because it's just better, that much better. But that's not finalized yet, and we should have it finalized before we go to market with this.
Erickson, I think Rick Santos had a question, or Edwin, any key differentiator with WebEx compared to Microsoft Teams?
Actually, there's a lot of differences. I think what's better is I actually have, and I will send this out afterwards, I have a battle card that compares in detail WebEx with Teams, and I'll send that out because there's a slew of differences, strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that. Yes, I will send that out to you guys.
Thanks, Erickson. Also, just for everyone to notice, this is just a quick overview. Erickson did mention we're going to go into deeper detail in future calls. This may become a dedicated demo on a future webinar series that we'll do. So we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive into this new release here. This was just meant to kind of give you a high-level overview of what's happening out there. So, any other WebEx questions? If not, I'm gonna pass it over to Mark Horton to talk a little bit of a support overview from the BluIP front. That's probably an area that we don't always talk enough about because people usually don't want to contact support, but when they do, we want to make sure they have a great experience. So, Mark, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Mark Horton. I'm Director of Engineering and NetOps for BluIP. Most of you guys are familiar with me or talked to me at some point in time, or my team members. You know, we really just wanted to touch base with our customers and partners in respect to our organization as a whole. You know, we do monitor metrics of the support team, and you know, we want to share some of those statistics with you guys. Sorry. You know, our goal as a company really is to provide the best, most efficient support that we can, and ultimately deliver customer delight. You know, in the end, we want you guys happy with our service and our support. So let's go over some of the statistics overall. Sorry, guys, I need some water. I don't have any. These statistics right here are year to date. So this is up until probably the first week of December. We've had about close to 8,000 tickets year to date. There's 155 currently unsolved, but these are not normal. These are normally like customer feature requests, but they're not ongoing support issues where we're you know, a customer's down or anything like that. These are usually sales engineering requests, things like that. So we're around, you know, we've solved around 7,600 tickets this year. 41% of those are on a one-touch basis. You know, one thing that we emphasize at BluIP is really one-touch, one-call resolution. We don't want calls to be bounced around to multiple engineers or nothing. We want our engineers to be able to answer the call and solve the issue right away. So we've succeeded in that. 41% of our tickets are one-touch. We're able to resolve them quickly. The reopened tickets, we try to keep that percentage as low as possible. If we've resolved the ticket, we don't want you guys coming back. You know, it really can be related to a myriad of things, but usually, you know, the team is pretty efficient at resolving things on the first shot. So there's that. Our first time median to reply, 45 minutes. So that's the time that we actually respond to your ticket, whether that's email, you know, through the portal or through a call. That, you know, that's within the first hour we're responding to you. We can tell you that number is quite a bit lower on average. But you know, overall, between the 7,700, 8,000 tickets that we have, 45 minutes. First resolution time, where we have actually, the customer has confirmed that the ticket has been resolved, is about 24 hours. Full resolution time, meaning the ticket is closed, is about 27 hours. Again, this is overall. We beat these statistics, I'd say 80% of the time. But you know, there are some tickets that drag out and may skew these statistics a little bit. But overall, these averages are very good compared to industry standards. Industry standards are much higher in our industry, and you know, our team really is working well with all this. So I'm showing you guys these statistics just because I really want to show and showcase how well our team works. Tickets first time reply time brackets. Really wanted to break down the percentages of the first time to reply. As you guys can see, I'm gonna pull this up and zoom it up because I'm on my laptop. 0 to 1 hours. So that's 44% of our tickets. So we are really efficient at replying to tickets overall. 1 to 8 hours, 8 to 24 hours, but you can see more than 24 hours, we're at 4%. Again, we try to push these numbers as low as we possibly can with our team, and we just really want to resolve these things as quickly as possible. Tickets by full resolution time brackets. Again, this is closed tickets, right? So this is how fast we're able to resolve the ticket and close the ticket. And again, you guys can see that, you know, we stay efficient overall. The biggest number that I want to go over, though, is the customer satisfaction score. This percentage right here, 96.1%, is actually based on 58% of surveyed tickets. So when you guys open a ticket and you get that survey sent back that says, hey, how are we doing, bad, good, or whatnot, we sent out surveys to 58% of our tickets created this year. You guys replied about 30% of that with an actual rating. And out of the 30%, we've got a 96% of positive rating. I can tell you guys that this percentage is actually much higher. You know, I would say it's more in the 98 to 99 percentile range. It's skewed a little bit because of some of the auto reply tickets from some of our carriers, things like that. But you know, our guys are annihilating this satisfaction score. This is very high. The industry standard in comparison, guys, is actually around 60 to 70% in our industry. So we are well above the industry standard, and our team's doing really well. In the end, you know, we want our partners and customers to be satisfied with our service. We are watching statistics, as you guys can see, and you know, we want your feedback. Guys, please fill out the survey. Please let us know if there's a problem. Please escalate to me if there's any issues. So that, you know, for us, it's about getting better, providing more information, keeping our customers and partners updated, and again, customer delight. That is where we focus on. So, you know, we're always looking to get better, but I really do have an excellent team, and I can't say, you know, so much more about them. There's a really good group of guys, and we hope you guys feel the same way. Do you guys have any questions for me on the support side?
Mark, I guess there's two pats on your back, and there's one question in the chat. So Bill Walsh asked, do you have a breakdown of how many of the tickets were for hospitality?
I do specifically. We do break down on a per brand basis, per partner basis on hospitality. I can provide those statistics maybe in the next webinar for you guys, if you guys want to break down kind of industry, but we do go that deep into the statistics as well. So, you know, for your guys' information. So we do have the ability to actually, we do have the ability to break that down for you guys, really. So any really specific statistics, even down to your organization, we can provide. So, you know, we can understand how many tickets that you guys have opened with us and give you a percentage back on really on anything. So it's really up to you guys. But we're always looking to get better, guys. And, you know, we encourage your feedback. And, You guys know I have an open door. I talk to most of you guys all the time. You guys can call me anytime to discuss anything to do with the support engineering organization. So, but really wanted to just touch base with you guys and let you guys understand that we are focused on being better, and we do measure ourselves. So, it's not just this open-ended, support. We do measure ourselves. So.
Yep. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, and I think it's very important to highlight we are at 96% satisfaction score. That is extremely high within the industry, and it's definitely a number we're proud of.
Yeah, some of the competitors, guys, just for reference, like I said, are more in the 60 to low 70% satisfaction rate. And again, I really cannot say enough about the support team, and I hope you guys are satisfied with our performance.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mark.
Sure.
So there was a question a little bit further up. I'm going to jump back to AIVA Connect for a hot second. So Sarah Caputo, Sarah, you asked a question specifically hospitality. Does AIVA need to be trained every time, or is there an out-of-the-box light version with the most common FAQs? For example, wake-up calls, towels, etc. Think about large rollouts or multiple simultaneous implementations. I'm going to volunteer my good friend Melinda to answer that in brief.
Well, that's an hour-long conversation. No, I'm just teasing. So absolutely, Sarah, there are a number of parameters that are standard. They may require some minor tweaking for the hotel. However, every hotel has a check-in and check-out time. And so there are a large number of frequently asked questions that we can have set up with minor changes for the hotel specifically. But yes, it does make it much easier when you're talking about large rollouts, multiple implementations at the same time. But yes, we absolutely can do that.
Awesome. Thanks, Melinda. All right, before we jump over to the next and final two slides here, any other questions from anyone related to either AIVA or WebEx or our support? If not, I'm gonna move on here. So thank you so much for the dialogue that was in here today. It's really good to get the questions. I know that a few of you probably hopefully going to go back and look at this recording. Feel free to share it with your colleagues or friends that may not have seen this or were aware of it. If you have anyone specifically that you would like to get added to this webinar list for next round, just send me an email. It's lasse@bluip.com. And I'll be more than happy to kind of add you to our ongoing webinar list. We'd love to have more people join in. Now, the really cool thing is, for you that did join in and ask questions, you actually have an advantage over the people that are just going to be sitting and watching this recording. So we're actually going to hand out a couple of little random giveaways for some of the people that were really active with questions. So Rick Santos, not sure what size you are, but I'll ping you afterwards because we have a nice little Columbia sports winter jacket. They're actually amazing. I use mine every single day. I was wearing mine this morning. Erickson is going to be the model there and showcase it right there on the fly. Bill, thank you as well. I'll also reach out to you. And Sarah, thanks for great questions as well. I'll be reaching out to you all three individually on some of these giveaways that we have. And for the next webinar, it's going to happen at some point in Q1 2022. I do not have a date here yet because it really just depends on what feedback we get from people like you on the call here. But it also depends on what topics we may have a little bit more urgent need to get out there. I would be surprised if WebEx is not going to be one of the next ones coming up. If you do have specific items you would like for us to present, absolutely reach out to us. We're more than happy to cover any of those topics and do demos. We want to showcase that BluIP, we're not stale, we're moving forward, we're rolling out new products, we're constantly innovating. I do think we need to make sure we communicate with you as trusted agents and partners out there with us. So that's our goal for these webinar series here. And with that being said, I wish a very happy holiday season to everyone out there, you and your families, and hope to see you again on the next webinar. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Lasse, I think
Yep.
Armin wants to just make such final closing notes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Armin.
Lasse, thank you all. By the way, just want to say thank you to our partners, to our agents. Obviously, we couldn't have been, we just recently celebrated our 10-year anniversary. Most of you guys have been with us since day one, just like our team has been with us since day one. And we've been extremely humbled and lucky enough to have others from the industry, if you will, switch sides, such as Lasse and April, coming to us from hospitality. I mean, that I can't emphasize that enough, how proud we are from a support standpoint as well as innovation. We haven't done a well enough job in the past of marketing our innovations, and hence the reason why Lasse recently joined us. That would be his role and responsibility going forward, to be the product offering expert, if you will, helping you guys to identify the needs of the customer and marrying that with slew of products internally that we have that's available. But just we haven't done a great job of education, if you will, and we will address that slowly but surely. But again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thank you again. Thanks for spending an hour with us. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you all.
Thank you all, guys.
Bye now. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.